Welcome to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee, an intimacy guide, surrogate partner, and professional cuddler. We're here to talk about intimacy in a much broader view than what you probably think. Most people think about intimacy as sex. We're going to break that apart here. Welcome to the lab. Hi, welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Michelle Renee. I am an therapeutic intimacy specialist, also a cuddle therapist. I have a background in surrogate partner therapy, and this is my podcast. It's been a little while, so I sat and thought about what's been my why has not my special interest come back to the podcast in a little while? If you've been following me for a while, you might know that I have a real mandate to kind of follow wherever my excitement is, which means projects start and they kind of fall off. And sometimes I come back and there's not a consistency to my schedule. So if you're looking for consistency to schedules, that is not me. If you're looking for consistency in holding to my responsibilities, that is me. So how I run my private practice and how I run my little pet projects like my podcast, my newsletter, blogging, any of those things, I really try not to make them my job. My social media, not my job. I engage with these spaces when I want to. And so you're getting my authentic yes when I'm here. So I've been thinking a lot about the last episode that I released. Now, mind you, I have 2 other ones that I've recorded. I just have not edited them or released them because I think I've been in this space of really sitting in the last episode. So if you go back, you had 2 episodes with my dear friend and colleague, Alex Ray. And the last one was so much fun. And Alex and I have such a good time together. And I've heard lots of feedback from people that they love hearing us together. So you'll probably see more of Alex and I here. But I've also had the little inside conversation going on in my head that is kind of not new to me. You can go back and see an episode with Leela Sinha where we talk about their book, You're Not Too Much. And I will tell you, and this is what I'm here for, is to kind of give you this peek inside how my brain operates. This episode, this follow-up episode with Alex, brought back an insecurity of, am I too much? Was that too much to share? Even one of my friends and colleagues and clients, I have a multi-layered relationship with this person, said, I know you. And that episode was a lot for me. Now, mind you, I think that if they were in my regular circles of people, that might not be so much the case. I run with a really sex geeky group of people where conversations about sex are not new. For this person, that is something that is in their edge growth, right? They are getting more comfortable around sex. They're asking more sex education questions. It's different for them. So I don't want to, I don't hear it was a lot for me as a wide brush of feedback from whoever my listeners are. But I'm aware of it. And I'll say that theme came up for me recently. I was working a immersive cuddle retreat, what I believe to be the first of its kind in upstate New York a few weeks ago. And interesting about being a cuddler at a retreat like that is that it's not just session time. I got to do a lot of sessions. I did 8 sessions over the course of 2 days. But it wasn't just Michelle being in session. I also was Michelle, the professional, for all of my waking hours. And I gave myself permission to be myself outside of the session space. I'm myself inside the session space, but I'm much more aware of who is in the session with me. It's for them. It's not for me. And um, we follow, usually we follow their conversation lead. But here at this retreat, sitting at the dining table, I found myself having a lot of conversations around sex and my history and things that I second guessed myself later of like, was that too much? Was that insensitive to some people at the table? Um, I don't want to feel like I need to walk around with like a content warning. Maybe I should. Maybe that's my next t-shirt is like content warning. I love being myself, and I've been asked at times to mute or minimize my transparency, like my profiles online and how I talk very candidly and openly about um, sex and relationships. And my first start in any of this world was a um, blog that I'm re-posting, like I'm publishing this blog called Sex After Marriage, where I was like a public diary of navigating my exploration into the kink and BDSM world, and also poly, like ethical non-monogamy umbrella. And so earlier in my surrogate partner career, I was asked if I could take some of that stuff down, some of my musings, and just like I lay it out there. And the clients that were being assigned to me in this office were uncomfortable when they would Google me. We can make a lot of assumptions. One of the assumptions I make is that my openness really reflected their fear of openness, right? And so working with me felt scary for them. I sat with that. I consulted with a colleague, Tender Holiday. Thank you for showing up in that space, because we built a really lovely friendship since then. And you were always somebody that I really looked up to in the sex work and in surrogate partner world. So in that conversation, I was able to really stand firm in my intention of being so forthcoming was to let people know that I'm really comfortable. I'm really comfortable talking about sex. I'm really comfortable in some of these edgy spaces. And that hope was that they could see me as like a mentor, see that I've been through a lot of different things and I've tried a lot of different things, to really relate to me if that was something that called to them. I didn't consider that that would push some people away. And what I decided in that moment is that the people I want to work with are not pushed away by that. And so I come back to this episode. I am mostly really, really proud of that episode. I love that, like my intention was to model experimentation and having fun and expanding what sex can look like. And those little yucky, you might be too much, little devil on my shoulder, he's probably never going to fully go away. I'm probably always going to question myself a little bit. And maybe that's good. I don't know I don't want to be the person that runs through the world going, everything I do is great, and I never should question anything that I do or say. I want to be curious about myself. I want to like play things back, even though I know they're seated in a little bit of anxiety, right? Even yesterday, I was at lunch and I noticed that I said something that maybe I didn't have permission to say. And so I went back to the person of topic and said, like, hey, I just want to be transparent. I might have said something. I said this, right? And if I didn't have permission to say that or your consent to say that, I want to clean that up as best I can, although you can't push it back in the box, right? And thankfully, it was not something that I wasn't supposed to talk about. But I was worried about that, and I want to be really conscious about cleaning up my messes. If I made a mess, I want to clean it up. So I don't think that episode was a mess. And I hope that the listeners value the share and value the transparency and take something from it. So thanks for still being here. If you're getting this episode, it means I didn't probably turn you away completely. And I love that. And yeah, that episode is going to live and live on. And I'm sure it won't be the wildest thing that I ever do on this podcast. It's the Intimacy Lab. It's about experimenting with intimacy of all kinds. And while I love expanding it outside of sexual intimacy, it's not going to not be here sometimes. So thanks for listening. If you haven't already subscribed to this podcast, I want to encourage you to hit subscribe. If you haven't left me a review, please, I would love a review. It's not that I have a goal to make this podcast like spread far and wide, but I think that it will help the people that really are seeking something like this, the casual conversation nature, the little bit of being a voyeur into my life. Like, it's going to be easier to find it if you leave me a review. Check out my websites, meetmichellerenee.com and humanconnectionlab.com, and see if there's anything there that resonates with you that you could share with someone else. Whether it's somebody in your world that could really use a cuddle session, or somebody in your world who really would love to address some of their hesitation around touch, physical intimacy, emotional intimacy, and you think maybe that we might be a good fit to work together. If you're utilizing a talk therapist, let them know I exist. And if they're a sex therapist, I'm a co-chair of this somatic sexuality professional special interest group at ASECT. And we'd love to have them in our conversations about how we can utilize touch work inside of talk work. And I'm going to die on that hill. There is something missing when we're only engaging in healing through talk. We need to engage in healing through touch and a much fuller space to practice being in relationships. And that's what I offer. So watch for more episodes. I'm going to get back on a kick. I have a feeling I might be doing a lot of shorter episodes. I might use this more like some long form interviews, but also just some one-off monologuing about topics that I notice I'd love to speak on, but don't have the desire to blog about. So thanks, everybody. I hope to see you back here soon. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to comment, pose a question, or learn more about the guests often featured on the show, visit us at intimacylabpodcast.com. Please also take a moment to review us on your favorite podcast app. It's one of the best ways to show your support. As for me, you can find out more about my work at meetmichellerenee.com, as well as on most social medias at meetmichellerenee. Let's connect again soon.